Xiyang is just such a juxtaposition to the rest of his team. He's just too nice.
Where's the
for a team like OMG, where it's got Icon in the mid lane just styling on kids, so that play from earlier in his last game, and it's just like, they have Xiyang, literally the direct opposite.
Yeah, super humble there, but that said, Xiyang, old school veteran of the team, he's been with them since 2014, where he played mid lane at All-Stars. We tried to forget that game, but I like to bring it up because he got dumpstered by Cloud9.
Indeed, but let's move on. I want to talk about the junglers in this one, because Sejuani made it all the way through the draft for us, Kieran, and I was looking at it, I was like, hang on. Why did no one pick it? I understand because one person picks Zhao, but what about Haro?
Yeah, Haro apparently just doesn't play it, and OMG had a good read on that. And we've kind of had this, there's a joke in the Chinese community where Haro is a coin flip player. Like, you play two champions. It's either heads, you've got Jarvan, tails, you've got Kha'Zix. This time around, he did reach out and grab for the Rek'Sai, but if the Sejuani falls through draft, we've seen multiple teams high priority first pick Sejuani would have worked so much better in that composition. You get tank access, you have great dueling potential because of her passive, and for whatever reason, she just does ridiculous damage when she gets that, what is it, the Frost Flail?
The Flail.
Yeah, the Flail proc onto you. And then she has long range initiation. Like, you have a Shin. She can also just dive in and hand deliver the Shin, or she can throw out non-committal long range CC lockdown, which would have been really valuable in that team composition. So, unfortunately, I feel like Haro's champion pool is very suspect, and better teams are starting to abuse that.
At the same time, though, Frost, you're also highlighting the fact that they only had one damage source, so that would have been a nice adaptation, but you still need another role to pick up the slack when it comes to that damage, right?
Well, yeah, and Rek'Sai did go a more traditional build. Usually it's, 2 damage items, warriors, and then a GA, just for added benefit there. But again, if you fall that far behind, your Rek'Sai is going to get screwed. So maybe that was the adaptation there. I still feel that EDG, it's very clear what went wrong in the draft phase. I don't suspect that we're going to see the exact same mistakes back to back. I would be very surprised. But that's still, one hand just now tied behind your back looking across at OMG.
Do you think that EDG will still look towards the bottom side, though, as their focus? So still giving Fireloli like
Absolutely.
Not Fireloli, iBoy like an early rotation, hyper carry, and then, yeah, Ray into the top side as well?
I 100% agree. EDG have always been a bot-centric team. Doesn't matter if it's Name, Deft, or iBoy. It's just kind of, again, it's one of those things that it's just the strength of the organization, the support staff behind them to bring up players into this this mold, similar to OMG. But again, if you're not utilizing Ray and his full potential, he had an incredible Cho'Gath performance. I love the fact that they gave Cho'Gath to Xiyang to deny that pick away from EDG. So many important champions to EDG are ones that play well around the Baron. Kalista, Cho'Gath, Malzahar, Cassiopeia, Kha'Zix, any champion that can burn Baron very quickly or help create a zone around it, that's what EDG's bread and butter has been for the last 2.5 splits.
Yeah, that's actually very true. They did very much remove the fangs out of Ray, because when in his previous sets that we've seen from EDG, he has that second threat that EDG is able to bring, and that has been actually pretty devastating, especially when he was, as you said, able to bring out the Cho'Gath.
But they haven't unleashed him. Even when he had his great performance on Cho'Gath, it was still just Cho'Gath. Like, give Ray one of his signature champions. Let this guy shine of what he was known for in the NALCS.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he was still flashing on people as Cho'Gath. He was like 1v1ing his lane opponent in top lane.
Imagine that with a Jarvan.
Okay, fair enough, yeah. We haven't really seen too much Jarvan, but I would like to see more carries coming out from Ray. We'll see if that is the case as we send it over to our casters.
Well, what we want, Pulse, is more Zhao, because that was really cool coming out from the jungle of OMG. And, it's our match of the week, Raz. Already OMG 1-0 up. A lot of people would have predicted EDG to be in this situation going into game number 2.
Yep. But sometimes your predictions just go down the drain like mine. When OMG just can showcase that they can bring in Fireloli with such great effectiveness, and then Xiyang can come up to Ray. Ray, the guy who's been having solo kill after solo kill, and then solo kill him. So yeah, you know what? Props to Xiyang.
On top of that, the Des, harped heavily on the Rek'Sai pick and the lack of Sejuani coming out from EDG. We'll have to see what changes going into the draft phase for them. Do OMG really have such a good read on them going into this? Because game 1 looked really good. We saw the unique pick of the Zhao. We saw iBoy's iconic Kog'Maw, but that wasn't enough for EDG to stay alive there.
Yeah, I would say that they had a good read on what they would kind of play in game 1. That would change going into game 2, as EDG will definitely change their drafts. But what is interesting is that bringing in Fireloli strategically is smart, because he's played on this team before. He understands the type of communications that the bot side of the map, at the very least, would kind of output, especially Meiko. So it's a smart point of insight that Fireloli has on this team.
Well, now EDG with first pick today take Kha'Zix. No, Ryze is the first lock-in for them after gangplank Vladimir and Kog'Maw are their 3 bans. Azir, Jarvan, and Kalista hit the bench for OMG.
All right, so it seems like AD carry and mid are going to be the most important kind of pickups here. I would say AD carry a little bit more, just because with Kalista and Kog'Maw getting banned out, you don't want AD carry to go into the wayside of second phase. So I might see early picks from the AD carry. Varus is one of them.
Yep, Varus gets picked up by Chelly. He played it last match to good success, and this is a player, that OMG are really.
Are you serious? Are you kidding me? That's blind.
Fireloli just says, you know what? Xin Zhao's a good pick, guys. I'm going to pick it up 2 games in a row.
I'm staring him down right now.
He's having a laugh, Raz. He's ready. But this leaves over Camille. That gets locked in for Ray in the top lane.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 in terms of wins. The win percentage is definitely high when it comes to it. So very strong pickup, and you'd have to expect it to go towards Ray.
We have Caitlyn being picked up by iBoy and Zoe locked in for Icon.
It's the fastest pick ban I've actually gone through in the split.
They know what they want, Reds. They know exactly what they want.
Yep. And especially if you get Zoe left up here. We've seen the Ryze versus Zoe matchup. Both should be comfortable in the lane, but you're technically never really comfortable when there's a Zoe in the game. You never know what a wave will bring her. Will it be redemption? Will it be, I don't know, something nonsensical? So there's a lot that Zoe can get, especially in the later portions of the game where vision control is going to be key and where she's going to be able to actually use her paddle star.
No more redemptions, please, Raz. We don't need that anymore. It just feels bad.
Feels bad.
MLXG died for that, and it was not good.
Yep.
MLXG did not need to die for Zoe redemptions. Braum and Tom Kenshin, the 2 bans that come out from OMG. Cho'Gath being taken away by EDG. Ray a little bit scared there almost.
Yeah, you have to be. Cho'Gath is such an annoying champion in the top side of the map. We've seen what you could do, especially if you have such a massive lead, so they're just going to take it off the map entirely.
On gets taken away, and Taric is the instant lock-in for 5 in the bottom lane.
Now you got to wonder a little bit what EDG will kind of look towards, because they have some good siege potential, a little bit of a good dive with the Camille as well, but they're staring straight into the gun of what seems to be a strong teamfight comp for OMG. So we talked about the ultimate invulnerability from the Xin Zhao a little bit. Now you have the invulnerability of the Taric pick on top of it. There's so much pick potential and teamfight potential coming out of OMG. There's a lot to be worried about if you're EDG.
Well, there you go. Haro's picked up the Sejuani pick, heading into the jungle. Frosker said, you know, he's a coin jungler, but he's like, you know what, I'm going to take this priority pick, see what I can do against the Xin Zhao. Now, final pick for EDG should be their support of choice to pair up with iBoy's Caitlyn, and Janna gets locked in for Meiko.
Such a good pick. Janna here is really solid in terms of dealing with the Xin Zhao, because a lot of questions were, what do you do up against the Xin Zhao? And it is disengage. Disengage in terms of a champion and how he's able to get in is really strong. So now, big question is, how are they going to play front to front? And how strong is the front line? As I say that, don't hover this. Don't do this.
Yes!
No!
We get Illaoi in the top lane for Xiyang. We know that historically it's been a good pick into Camille. And Xiyang pulls it out for game 2 for OMG.
Xiyang's feeling himself a little bit here. He wants to kind of showcase his strength up against Ray, and I respect that.
And it's the pulse curse that continues here, as every time he's on the desk, it's one of his champions that get locked in.
Yeah, he's never going to cast this pick. He just has to deal with it.
He's on the floor, as he's fallen over. Pulse is gone. We need a new host for the next segment of the desk.
This is so sick. So let's take a look at this, because top side is pretty key. You don't want to look at the bottom side because that's pretty boring. There's a lot of disengage, a lot of no fights happening here, a lot of just X's. No one wants to look at the X. You only want to look at the check mark, and I only see check marks on the top side of the map where you need to get on top of that top lane pick here. Xin Zhao is going to be top side. It's going to happen. We're not even in the map yet. We're not even in champion select, and the crowd's going off.
Oh yeah, the two sides of the stadium are split, Raz. OMG fans going up against the EDG fans. EDG's stock standard team comp this time round. It was OMG back-to-back, Raz, picking up the unorthodox picks. Illaoi, we got Xin Zhao 2 games in a row, and they all look so happy. No, you should not be that happy going into a professional League of Legends match.
Yeah, this is professional, man. You got to feel a little bit more serious about this. Oh, that's a serious face.
That's not.
Yeah,
he's ready.
He's not cosplaying his own champion.
The Fireloli's happy. You have to think that Xiyang is ready to go as well, picking up the Illaoi in the top side of the map.
And this team, OMG, has always been the team to ride that emotion through. That's the basic key about this. I remember in the last playoff, it's always been when the emotion's with them, when they have the momentum, they can ride it through to a victory. So now they're 1-up on EDG, feel themselves a little bit blind picking the Zhao, and have last picked Xiyang's carry top laner in Illaoi. I haven't seen this out of OMG in a very long time.
Certainly have not. The Dark Forces, Raz, they're working together here. OMG, they brought Fireloli into the jungle for this match. They're currently 1-2 in their conference.
Hello, Rusty.
I'm pretty sure OMG just poached, you know, the cheer guy for Jindong.
100%.
Oh, he is going loud. But EDG fans still standing strong, waiting for this match. OMG, though, this is the team everyone's going to be talking about right now because 2 games to Zhao. They've also picked up Illaoi in the top side of the map.
Yeah, you can feel the energy kind of building up here from the audience, from the members on the stage, and the picks kind of help that out. So let's talk about the picks a little bit. Seems like we get that opportunity to, more so on the top side of the map. Because not only did Xiyang pick up Illaoi, but he's gone Klepto Illaoi. He's gone Klepto Illaoi with the minion dematerializer. So he's going to be trying just kind of get as much poke in the lane so he can get that gold for himself. Because this is actually a pretty difficult lane for him. There are windows in which Ray can actually out-trade him here.
You have to remember when Illaoi is able to pull your soul, so to speak. The Cuttermancy can proc on that. So an interesting pick up from Xiyang. On top of that, we have 4 minion dematerializers, Raz.
It's a lot of
minion dematerializers. 4 stopwatches coming out from OMG.
They're feeling a bit inspired.
On top of that, you know, 3 unsealed spellbooks coming out from them. 2 on the side of EDG.
They all have gone through primary inspiration trees. And Fireloli changing from Phase Rush goes to Glacial Augment for a slow now. Now he slows people. He doesn't run fast. He's slowing you. This is a hilarious game.
Well, we can already see EDG right at the start of the match. Picking up the Caitlyn as well as the Janna. This is a very oppressive lane. It's going to lock Chelly and 5 underneath their turret for some time. That's where we expected the Relic Shields, the 3 potions, as well as the Minion Dematerializer to help them out a little bit.
Yeah, there's so much sustain through. Now that they've gone primary inspiration tree, you got to expect not only the Relic Shields in the bot side of the map, but how many biscuits are going to be available to these laners. Because now that they have the sustain on top of being able to push while they're all at the same time using their Minion Dematerializer, that's going to be pretty oppressive going up against the EDG. EDG will have these waves constantly at them, especially in the cannon minion wave, and it'll allow Fireloli more opportunities to invade.
There he goes, Raz, just hopping around the rift.
Up, up, up.
It's your friendly Zhao. He's going to try and take down Scuttlecrab, and I know this is the lane that we really want to talk about. Ray going up against Xiyang, already trying to trade very early against one another. Xiyang, though, doesn't take a great trade there against the Camille.
And that's the window we're talking about. Because in those situations where you do get your soul pulled by Illaoi, you just all in on her. And the base damage that Ray hasn't, because he has like the Comet, and as well as have the physical shield that he gives, means that he's going to be able to trade properly. So it's honestly Illaoi here, especially now that she's pushing into the matchup, that has to be aware of this, and has to be aware of the 2v2 or the 2v1 that's present. Because if Haro comes into this and he takes a bad trade...
Oh, that's a flash forward from 5. iBoy has been ignited, still has heal available. Chelly not going to flash forward for this one, but they do get the flash out of the Caitlyn. Very aggressive from OMG's bottom lane.
Yeah, as we were talking about the top side going in favor of EDG. EDG's bottom line, actually for the first time in a very long time, takes a bad trade. And now they're on the bad end of this.
5 is still going to go forward.
Oh!
90 caliber net comes out, ignites ticking from Meiko just to try and lock down 5. Gets a shield onto himself just to negate some of that damage, but he's out of mana. Meanwhile, both junglers are on the top side of the map. Xiyang is here trying to trim this way. Fireloli's going to hop into the lane as well as both of them. Looking to see if they can go for a cheeky 2-on-2. Haro jumps in. It's a full-blown 2-on-2 team fight. Xiyang gets taken out to about half health. Ray jumps in. Haro very low. Scout forced to teleport into the top lane. We'll get a decent trade back against Fireloli, but both teams just settle down, head back to their respective sides of the map.
But that is a major win for OMG. Haro would have died there. Ray should not have stuck around, but the reason why he did so is because the TP was completed by Scout, which allows Icon more opportunity to push in, base, come back onto the map, and Scout either stays in the lane and loses out in terms of itemizing, he loses the item advantage, or he bases and then suddenly Zoe has the freedom to roam. That's just pressure that now OMG has in favor of them because of that play.
Ray has not gone back to base yet though, so he still has his teleport available, can still teleport back to the top lane to pick up this wave. Does give Xiyang a small teleport advantage if he does. He's going to do just that. But when Camille was released, Red, she was a little bit overtuned, was permanently banned or picked for quite a few weeks until a couple of nerfs came in. However, Illaoi was seen as one of those pocket/niche picks you could take into her, and still feels to be that way, because Illaoi hasn't been changed. But Camille has been, you know, brought back into a balanced state of mind.
Yeah, I mean, Camille got changed directly just because of her buffs and then the rune changes that came in as well. Illaoi got changed through items. And that's a big point to kind of look towards, because you'll see it from the items that Xiyang ends up building. It's going to be fairly squishy, that he's actually going to be building so much damage, but at the same time is going to be able to tank quite a bit because of Starrick's Gauge. So Starrick's Gauge is going to be the go-to once he gets Starrick's Gauge, as well as the lifesteal item. I forget the name of it. Escapes my memory. Death Stance. Once he gets those two, that's a strong combination for him to just kind of dish a lot of damage, but take a lot and not really worry too much about it.
We'll have to keep track and see what items he picks up later on in the match. However, Camille is a champion that needs to go aggressive and go in to pick up damage. Illaoi really likes that, because if you jump on top of Illaoi, she's just going to slam the ground and suddenly 4 tentacles are attacking you.
Yep, a lot of sustain on the champion.
Oh, good damage coming out from Zoe. She can get the paddle star. She does bring Scout down to half health with one combo.
Yeah, nice window that she found herself in, because the wave was coming in, but not fast enough to block that. And Scout doesn't have cleanse. Changed to teleport a little bit a while back, so that's going to hurt him. Scout's going to have to actually change to cleanse as the game moves on forward, because if he gets picked off with one sleepy trouble bubble, that can just be an instant pop. If he doesn't die, then he's actually have to base, and that's going to be more freedom for Icon to move.
Checking in with the bottom lane, although we saw OMG get a nice trade against EDG, forcing iBoy's flash. That flash is coming back up, and he used teleport to get back into this lane. However, OMG, they've lost so much hit points on that bottom lane out of turret, that slowly iBoy will be able to chip away at that.
Yeah, EDG's bottom side is pretty relentless, known for being able to take that bottom lane tower like 7 minutes into the game, 8 minutes into the game, and they finally got on top of the Caitlyn Janna pick. So that's going to be a primary win condition for them, is to free the Caitlyn and get her to the mid lane, to the top lane.
Ooh, Ray going aggressive there. Does have Haro up behind him.
Here we go.
Hextech Ultimator comes in. Xiyang tries to fight this one out. Pops the Zhonya's on the stopwatch as they jumps back on top of Ray. Gets so much damage down. He says, let's go, boys. Come on and slam. Great stun comes out from Haro. But can he do it? Xiyang started. Fights them in the 2-on-1 and picks up first blood for OMG.
I didn't believe him, but Xiyang is a god. He canceled out the first stun opportunity that Haro got onto him with a stopwatch and forced him to re-engage if he wanted it again. He bought so much time for himself, and now he has 1 kill to his name.
Ooh, Ray threatening to go back in. Xiyang says, sure, I'll still fight you. More than happy to, with first blood picked up. And that's exactly why you don't dive on top of an Illaoi. That's her playground right here, Raz.
This is the beautiful part about this. It's the 2v1s, it's the 3v1s, and if you have enough sustain, Illaoi can get through it. This is a great point for Xiyang. Boom! He thinks it's going to come through, he stopwatches it, and he forces Haro to build up the stacks once again. And when he finally gets it, sure, it works out. But you waited a long time for it, and that's long enough for the cooldowns to come through and for him to chop your head off.
Waits for the final second to flash his way as well. Going back to live, we see that EDG able to pick up a trade against OMG. Chelly gets a kill, and it seems like Meiko's been able to do the same as well. So hopefully be able to see that again. Scout was the one taken down in that exchange.
Yeah, there's a lot that's been happening on the map, but OMG have been the beneficiary for a lot of it.
Chelly picks up a blue buff as well. Bottom lane, our turret is very low. EDG ping over towards that, identifying that that's a pressure point on the map now.
Yeah, but I don't know if they can get it. Unless if they can find a good basing opportunity. Chelly needs to base now, but he has Spellbook. He can just swap the TP. If that tower is going to be worried about, then he can just TP to defend it. I think that's just going to be the case. Let's take a look at this, because I guess it was, they tried to catch out iBoy. It looked pretty bad for them. Okay, so they got the kill. But they just tried for too much, and Chelly ain't gonna let that happen.
That turret is so low.
Wait
so Chelly
minute.
just says, all right,
Are you
sure.
kidding me?
No, that's not how it's meant to work. Meiko decides to jump away.
That's hilarious. I'm sad we missed that live. That is so funny.
Stopwatch is just an item, Raz. Oh, redemption. That's great.
Okay. Yeah.
Gives him a bit of a heal in the bottom lane.
It gives him a shield because he has overheal. That's what sucks. That actually helped him, even though he had full HP.
But Icon sends a redemption down into the bottom lane. Stopwatch, it's just an item, Raz, and they tried to dive Chelly. Chelly held onto his ultimate for the perfect time.
But everybody forgets about it. They all forget about a stopwatch. They press tab, realize it's there, but then you go in for the dive and you're like, this is going to be easy, and then he uses it.
Ray just sticking around, fancying a fight here. It does stop the second part of the soul. I can't remember the name of that ability though, Raz. Stops the second part of that, which stops the slow, stops the tentacles from spawning next to Ray.
Yep.
Oh, he does take a bit of damage for doing that.
Once Xiyang gets enough damage to be able to burn through that, that's when it starts to become a lot harder for Ray to stick in this lane. For now, it's a sustain off. He's getting a lot of gold for himself. He's using that for push, unless if he can get a kill.
He's in trouble. He's been slowed down. The tentacle's going to come out and slam soon as well. He has to put on his blue suede shoes to dodge these out. Jumps over the wall. Still has 2 more tentacles to avoid, though.
Yeah, and you can't base at all until that's been expended because of the changes that went through in Illaoi. The tentacles come up a lot more frequently. So he's just going to have to wait or take the long route to the base.
So Raz, OMG, they lost first turret. But the gold is still dead even. They haven't even picked up a single turret for themselves. And they're happy in the position they're in right now.
They definitely are. I would say the one thing they need to do is to send iBoy and Meiko to immediately deal with this Xiyang lane.
Ooh, good night, Scout.
Well, that hurts. But if they do that, I think sending the AD carry to deal, like the 2-man lineup to deal with Xiyang and put him in a 2v1 matchup, then that isolates and cuts off a lot of the win condition that OMG were kind of hoping for.
Hello. EDG reckon they can fight for this Infernal Dragon. Nobody from the side of OMG has made their way towards the pit just yet, so it could be a free objective for them.
Okay. I respect this.
It's taken out fairly low. Haro should be able to solo this one out. The rest of EDG just plays spoiler and stop anyone from OMG getting anywhere close. So Infernal Dragon gets picked up by EDG.
Yeah, they might even look to contest the blue buff because right now the AD carry, yeah, sure he's back at base, but even if he was on the map, wasn't going to be able to fight.
They jump onto her Fireloli. Fireloli's going to get the ultimate from 5, but is it in time? Yes, it is. He's able to get the invulnerability, throws out his own ultimate as well. Haro tries to lock him down even further. Scout now trying to join the fight, chasing down after Icon. Good damage coming out. Forced to use the exhaust from his W. Will flash over the wall to get back to safety. EDG press into OMG's jungle and get everything they wanted.
Yeah, good pressure from EDG. They got the 2 objectives they wanted, the dragon and the blue buff. They also got a few summoners as well. This is going to be great for EDG now because they can push that towards the middle lane or can move towards the top lane. They have 2 options, and it seems like mid is going to be that.
And again, top side of map, Xiyang just getting so many aggressive trades against Ray. Pops the ultimate as well to get even more damage down, slowing down Ray. Again, forced to retreat away from this turret. Ooh!
Oh, that's
a fire coming out from Xiyang! He didn't even see it coming, Raz! Right out of nowhere! And they're going for a fight in the mid lane as well. Paddle starts to Scout, forced to use the stopwatch. Chelly is there, gets good damage down. Scout tries to fight this one forward. Chelly flashing into iBoy. He gets the double kill. Chasing down Meiko. That's 2 for him. 1 for Icon. Only Haro escapes with his life.
OMG are just gunning them down across the map. I looked at that, and I still don't believe that tentacle hit. That hitbox is absurd. And so it catches Ray off guard. He's like, wait, I died for this? And at the same time, they pick a fight in the mid lane. And of course, Chelly's able to just assassinate both the carries.
On top of that, we have 5 teleporting back into the mid lane, keeping the melee minions alive and allowing OMG to push for their 2nd turret of the game. They have now taken a 2,000 gold lead for themselves, Raz.
It seems like right when we were starting to give EDG credit, slowing the game down and refocusing towards the bottom side of the map, it all starts to crash down. I don't know what happened in the mid lane for that setup to occur. We were so focused on what was happening in the top lane that we kind of only caught when the CC landed from Chelly to engage on that fight. But EDG were caught off guard. They didn't have the TP or Ray available for it, so they were just locked in a 4v4 fight that they weren't willing to take.
They certainly were not ready for that fight. We're going to see top lane again, Rez, all the way from the very beginning.
This is when I'm questioning, you know, a little bit pissed off. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, well, how did that hit him? At this point in time, Ray recognizes that maybe he can stick around, but Xiyang is like, wait a second. My E cooldown is already up. I'm going to be able to wrestle you back again. And he uses his ultimate with the intent of pushing Ray off of his tower. He was like, all right, he's not going to come back. But this hits. How did that hit?
Woo!
How did that hit? They shouldn't have hit.
Big slam, but this is the start of that team fight. Ryze gets put to sleep, and he gets put to sleep again, Raz. Good Zhonya's used by 5.
Yeah, really strong. Both these CCs allowing Chelly and the rest of OMG to kind of chase them up. So 2 strong Sleepy Trouble Bubbles from Icon, and a strong ulti from Chelly to kind of just push them there and recognize that they can chase them forward.
And it was Haro that got the only kill, or sorry, the second kill for EDG in that team fight. Meanwhile, top side of map, EDG have actually been able to pick up a play. They get a good gank on towards Xiyang and get a single pick on towards him, now pushing for top lane outer.
Yeah, they should have done that a little bit earlier. They kind of expected, or at least trusted, that Ray could deal with the matchup instead of dying once again. So they end up getting towards it. They end up pushing the dual lane back top side of the map, but now they have to actually answer to this lane.
Haro's now trying to chase OMG away from that mid lane inner turret. Caitlyn getting good damage onto the top lane outer. If they are able to take down that top lane outer turret with nothing else being taken, it would be a good trade for EDG, put them back close to even.
Now sticking to the lane ends up working well for them. Sure, they trade towers essentially, or at least pressure. But now it opens up the map for EDG to once again kind of reassess where their control wards should be going. It's going to be a hard decision for them because, sure, the Rift Herald is up and that can find its own uses, but that's an Infernal Dragon.
Oh, Icon needs to find a way out of this. That gets cancelled.
I guess his jungler was shouting at him, saying, "Take this damn blue buff. Don't you TP away from me."
Oh, looked like they were going for a pick on towards Icon, but he used that time to take down bottom lane outer turret. Propelling OMG ahead again by 1,000 gold.
If he had taken blue buff and then TP, that actually would have been a great play. But, I mean, they just decided to not go for what looked like a free play just because of the blue itself. Because honestly, I think that could have worked.
Potentially. Keeping track of Xiyang's items here, Raz. Black Cleaver's picked up first. He has the Jarion's Fist as well as the Ninja Tab. He's going for Spectre's Skull next, so not for that very glass cannon build that we were talking about. Instead, going for a bit more tanky route. Actually, no. What's that word for? Undid his purchase of the Spectre's Skull, just went for the Ruby Crystal instead first.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Xiyang should just be going towards the item once again. See, goddamn, it's just one of those things, one of those items that really only a few, like he's not going to go for the Death Dance immediately. Steric's Gauge.
That should be the next item. We'll have to see what he does pick up. But now Fireloli wants this Rift Herald. Doesn't have any friends here just yet.
It's a tough pickup.
Making sure he maintains aggro, but EDG might get the collapse on towards it. He's not going to spot the mountain. They collapse on the Fireloli. This is a big mistake coming out from Fireloli.
Yeah, he didn't see the 4-man lineup starting to come up against. That was just a lapse in communication. The rest of OMG didn't see him, or at least didn't see EDG kind of collapsing in, so they just assumed that they had a little bit of time.
But still very questionable. Ooh.
And Fireloli's got to recognize that he's still really squishy, especially since he's gone towards attack speed heavy build. That if he gets locked down by Sejuani first, they can burst him down immediately before he even has a chance to use his own ulti.
So again, OMG going to send Illaoi into the side lane. EDG have equalized the gold lead that OMG previously acquired. Second Infernal Dragon though, Raz. OMG just keep making these really small mistakes and EDG punish them very hard for it. That's going to be Rift Herald. That's going to be the second Infernal Dragon as well going over to EDG.
Yeah, strong shot calling from EDG as a whole to find those small windows. Be it the vision control that they are able to accrue and just kind of get a peek into Fireloli taking the Rift Herald. And then not being able to set up for the Infernal Dragon immediately afterwards. So there was no real answer from OMG. So they were able to get 2 kind of short but strong plays to get them back into this.
Still holding to Rift Herald in their back pocket. We'll have to see how they use that one. They could potentially break down the mid lane outer turret against OMG, equalize the turret score. And still just allowing Illaoi to side push at the moment.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want her. I think he should be safe. That's a cannon minion in front. There
Almost. Not close enough. Scout gets some good return damage, but that was a long-range bubble coming out of Icon. Mid lane outer turret is going to fall. EDG don't even need to use the Rift Herald for that objective. They can hold on to it for a little bit longer.
Yeah, so this is going to be tough for OMG, recognizing that they're just getting out-pushed essentially. They lost their outer mid lane turret. the Baron coming up in 20 minutes, that's going to be EDG that will have the first punch at getting and clearing the vision around Baron. You can already see that Haro's up to that right now. So good, slow pace coming in from EDG to kind of stop all of the pressure that OMG have been accruing early.
Ray standing right behind Xiyang. Scout trying to make his way down into the bottom lane. They have to be careful about this because they can always rotate towards Baron if they collapse too heavily on Xiyang. Yeah, oh, he's waiting. He knows that he's about to get ganked. The rest of the team, though, not moving in towards the Baron pit. Here comes Ryze. Xiyang pumps his ultimate, says, all right, let's slam, boys. So much damage. They have to be careful. He's flashed away, but Scout going to follow shortly after Xiyang. He falls. EDG get that pick, and OMG not close enough to try and take the objectives.
Yeah, now that the Rift Trail is being used, this is a good opportunity for EDG to start looking to barrel down through the mid lane.
They're going to try and do just that. Icon, ooh, so much damage onto iBoy. They get a good trade in return onto the Zoe, but iBoy so low, can't step up to the plate to get the auto attacks in. And that poke from Icon just saved OMG right there.
Yeah, a bit of indecision from EDG. They didn't want to look to utilize iBoy for chipping down that tower when he can just make that play again. So Icon, really strong from him to just cut down EDG. Uh-oh. It's a good stop. Now they have to take a little bit more time to base.
But that is really scary when you can see Illaoi take on 3 members of EDG, force a flash out of Scout. Meiko was forced to use the ultimate to keep himself alive as well.
Yeah, it was really good timing from EDG to be able to pick him off before Baron was a real issue. You know, fast forward that into like 22 minutes. Had that same play happen, OMG would have been in position for Baron, would have been able to take it, and you might even have expected Xiyang to actually have won on in that situation, maybe take 1 member with him.
I mean, that was the real predicament, so to speak. Nobody from OMG was in a position to try and start Baron. Not enough damage to take it down that quickly either. But still, Reds, it's dead even. The only thing that really separates these two teams is the fact that EDG have 2 Infernal Dragons. iBoy's picked up his double Zeal item, Static Shiv and Rapid Fire Cannon complete with the Infinity Edge.
Yeah, and he's not too pressed on picking up that armor pen. That's usually what he would go towards. Like, he might even go towards like a Bloodthirster early on, just because there's not any real armor being built in by OMG. There's a Taric. That's the only real threat in terms of pure armor and frontlining.
Now OMG collapsing towards the mid lane. Illaoi's close by. Icon! Very aggressive there. Ultimate comes out, but iBoy, what are you doing there? Get stuck, forced to flash away. Ultimate did come out from Zhao to try and knock him backwards and turn on his own ultimate, but still, iBoy with a big mistake.
Yeah, and that's going to cost them. Now that OMG's pushed out this mid lane, they can move towards the Baron, and they can play that game of, you know what, now that we've controlled that area, you actually have to walk towards us. And now iBoy, you don't have flash, so how are you going to protect yourself? It's going to cost them.
However, unlike game number 1, EDG do have multiple damage threats coming to this match. Ray is going to be one of them. Scout as well, another one. So they don't just have to rely on iBoy for the damage. But that was a very scary situation. Any further forward of a flash from Fireloli would have knocked iBoy too far away to flash to safety there. Yeah. Right into the hands of the waiting of OMG. Haro. Bit aggressive here, just looking to clear out some wards. Fireloli going for a different build this time around. It's not the Warriors pick up on the Zhao. Goes for the Devourer enchantment.
Yeah, a lot more attack speed, just to kind of keep himself up, or at least his ultimate up, for a longer duration. If he can continuously attack the tank and Haro. In the last game, there was not that many tanks for him to really deal with, so he didn't really have to worry about that. He can just go towards the raw damage. This time around, it's a lot more DPS for a longer period of time.
They're trying to cash out Scout on the top side of the map here. They a little bit too late. He's already used the round walk to make sure he can get away.
Okay. At least they tried. And on top of that, they now are able to kind of push out that top lane. They don't have any control wards, which is the real worry here if you're OMG. There's only one, I would say 2 control wards if you're counting the Varus as well. So they need to base now, get a lot more control wards. Specifically, I would say Zoe, Icon to base and sell his Doran's Ring for one. So they can actually kind of start to pressure EDG a little bit more.
Chelly in this mid lane going to be able to farm up a little bit more. He's looking for his Blade of the Ruined King next. Across from him, though, iBoy just has so many diamonds picked up. BF sword complete as well. He's still not opting to upgrade his boots just yet. Happy to hold on to it. Does give him the extra 10 movement speed.
Yeah, there we go. The fact that he's willing to go towards a Bloodthirster means that he's a lot more comfortable. He's comfortable in this game just going straight damage, raw damage, and maybe worrying about the armor penetration later on when Zhao actually starts to itemize towards a Randuin's Omen.
You potentially see that Mercurial Scimitar instead. We'll have to keep track of iBoy later. Ray looking to try and pick up a Cloud Dragon. Not going to be as impactful as those double Infernals they have, but still stacks up the Elementals for EDG, gives them a late game win condition. And Elemental, the Infernal is the next Elemental to spawn. Yeah. The final one as well.
OMG, it starts to split the map up because the primary focus was shifting towards Baron, but if EDG's got this many dragons underneath them, once they get the Infernal Dragon, Elder Dragon becomes such a larger objective for OMG specifically with how many dragons they've stacked up.
So it's OMG's turn this time around. They move towards top side of the river, get vision control over the pit, and move in towards EDG's jungle, looking to see if they can get a cheeky pick. Scout has to be careful, going to walk in. Fireloli tries to step out. Trouble Bubble does not connect. The rest of EDG are grouped up nicely to deal with that.
All right, they're going to play this a little bit more slower because they need to actually set up for Xiyang pushing bottom lane. If they can do that, then they actually have an opportunity to look to play the Baron game. For now, not going to be the case.
In the bottom lane, Ray going toe-to-toe against Xiyang. Scout's going to teleport down into the bottom side of the map. Xiyang flashes away, uses the crucial summoner spell, but that's a teleport burnt by EDG. Still has the Realm Warp to move around the map quicker.
Yeah, it burns Xiyang's flash, and a lot of pings go down in the middle lane because OMG are trying to force a fight. Immediately, EDG, the rest of them that are sticking around, oh, wait a second.
Oh, they found them. Fireloli as well as Chelly jump on top of Scout. Can they kill him before the Realm Warp? Scout flashes out of it. Fireloli gets the CC he needs. Paddle starts in the back lines. Ray's in trouble. Flashes over the wall, but the Ignite is ticking. Not enough to take them down. There are lots of pings going towards the Baron, however.
Yeah, you have to believe they're incredibly tilted off of that. Not being able to take those 2 kills, but that gives them an opportunity to force a Baron fight. Maybe not enough time to take it, knowing that EDG are going to be there for it.
Less than 100 health each, Raz. OMG were so close to picking off both carries from EDG.
Hurts. Really does. It really does, because that was such a good pick on the 2 rotating back towards the mid lane. They essentially get away from it for free.
Only burning the Realm Warp as well as both their flashes there. Which is crucial, but still. So close from OMG. They almost had the damage they needed. Big Paddle Star coming out from Zoe as well to take down both of them. Xiyang has set up tent in the bottom lane once again though. Going to continue farming this one out, forcing Ray to move to this side lane.
So you can see what EDG have been trying to do. Trying to double up on Xiyang, get Ryze in there as fast as possible and in and out in a sense. Kill him and hopefully they can push back and stop OMG from picking Baron. Ooh. That's a solid plan. It's been working out a little bit.
Bloodthirster is picked up by iBoy here, Raz. That's a lot of damage coming out from Caitlyn.
So this is when they can actually play around the Caitlyn damage. Took a long time for that pea shooter to turn into a machine gun. But finally it's turned into the case. Chelly
uses the cleanse, able to jump out. Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Sejuani. Good damage coming out from Paddle Star.
That's not going to turn into much because Haro picked himself up a Warmog, so he's going to heal that up quite well. It's actually a really smart pickup that we've been seeing a lot of teams when they go up against the Zoe pick. Because sure, it can burst you as a tank, but if you heal it up immediately, then that's just mana lost for Icon.
And OMG just don't have vision control at the moment. Illaoi's going to continue pushing in the bottom lane. Fireloli's going to hop around the river and try and get as many wards down as he can. Chelly has to be careful of his position now. No cleanse available. Does come back off of cooldown quite quickly, especially with the 25% reduction he gets from Unsealed Spellbook.
Yeah, he has that going for himself. He's also, they're all incredibly close by to the Baron. So they've finally set up to a point where they can respond to Baron once they actually man up on Xiyang. So if they double up Xiyang, triple up Xiyang, if they can just send members to Xiyang, EDG, they'll fail because sure, they can kill him. But now OMG have access towards the Baron. So that's the play that they've been utilizing. I just wonder which team is actually going to be able to make it work.
Icon goes and picks up his own blue buff. More Paddle Star should be enough for that. Again, we have Xiyang going into the bottom lane. He has the Spirit Passage picked up.
Go for
EDG
it.
say, you know what, we're going to start up this Baron buff. It gets taken down fairly low. Teleport's actually coming in for the bottom lane from Ray. Illaoi is not here yet. Teleporting to backlines. It's a big flank, but might not be the one they want. Fireloli's waiting in the wings, trying to see if he can jump in. Jumps in the pit. He's going to get involved a bit, but he gets taken down first. iBoy kills Fireloli, but big snipe coming out from the Paddle Star. Baron goes to EDG. OMG on the retreat. Big crit coming out from iBoy. Locks down Icon. Has to get a shield to stay alive in that team fight, but still, Baron buff gets picked up by EDG.
And you can see how hard it is to play team fights as a Zhao. He tries to go in for a steal, but gets popped immediately. And sure, they answer back by killing Meiko. But what are you going to do at that point? That just turns into a Baron pickup by EDG and a confident stand as they're not going to go back onto the map. Take a look at this, because this was a confident start from EDG. It turns into a smite steal, but the moment they CC him, immediately bursts him down. There's no opportunity for him to pick up his ultimate. It's still off cooldown, so he could have used it. And so from that point forward, you lose your jungler, you lose Baron, you just have to get up out of there.
5 needed to channel that ultimate much earlier, and Fireloli had to be a bit more patient or use that ultimate much quicker. However, again, this is the second game we've seen the Zhao res, and we haven't seen exactly what OMG are picking up, besides the fact that Fireloli seems to be confident on the champion.
Yeah, this game around is not turning into the best showing for Fireloli, just because he hasn't been able to use his ultimate. EDG have been doing an amazing job at CCing him.
Oh, they locked down iBoy. Paddle Star, so close to Icon, he just didn't jump in time.
It's unfortunate.
So far, that Baron buff has only given EDG about 2,000 gold of a lead. They need to start working for these objectives to increase that gold lead with the 2 minutes they have left.
What they need to do is send Haro. Oh, maybe wait a little bit. Now they can send Haro back down that area to kind of zone off and push off Zoe. Just because Zoe can actually, now that she's in the mid lane, can rotate between bot and mid and send the sleepy trouble bubbles.
Be careful. And meanwhile, Fireloli wants to try and jump into this fight. Instantly dies again. He can't keep doing this. Scout just jumps back into the bottom lane. Ace in the hole will come out from the Caitlyn. And every time Fireloli just jumps in, it's a headshot coming out of iBoy.
Yep, you might want to be out of range of iBoy if you're going to try that. Or you might want to get up on iBoy's face and prioritize him initially. That was not the case. He was on another member while still being in range of iBoy, so iBoy was still safe while being in range of the Zhao ulti.
Just like that, EDG opened up the game 4,000 gold ahead of OMG. Moving towards their third Infernal Dragon as well, Raz.
Yeah, this is getting tough, and right now Fireloli's sitting at 0-4 and 0, or 2. He's at a point in this game where he needs to start to step it up. Either use your stopwatch or use your ulti in a better manner, and then you can provide more space for Icon and Chelly to dish damage, and time for the TP to kind of follow through from Xiyang. So a lot of this time, they're just losing one member before the fight even starts.
Ray almost getting caught out there by Icon. Good ward, gets placed down to spot out the Zoe.
Alright, where are you using that for? Okay.
Just headed home.
That's cool. It's a better way to back.
Just wants to shop.
Just have that available to you.
Fireloli almost getting caught out here. Ace in the hole comes out again. Very squishy Zhao.
I feel like the next item that Zhao is going to be able to get is going to be Guardian Angel. I don't know how close he is to that item. You have to believe that he is.
Oh, he needs it.
Yeah, he definitely is with how he's been playing the fights.
But we questioned the Rek'Sai pick last game. Now we have to really question the Zhao pick, because it seems to be the exact same case here. When Fireloli jumps in and dies instantly, same as Haro last game on the Rek'Sai. He's picked up the Sejuani this time around, looking a lot better. Xiyang still very confident on the Illaoi. EDG don't have the Baron buff anymore, but still able to take down all the outer turrets against OMG, picking up a sizable gold lead for themselves, 5,000 gold ahead.
You'd have to expect for OMG to make a stand right here. They don't want to lose this. Okay, you know what? Thank God that didn't land.
Meanwhile, they found Chelly in the mid lane, locking him down. Ultimate comes out. He's in. Scout! He's getting put to sleep. Pops the ultimate as well as the Zonius to get the heck out of there. OMG almost again, Raz. Just so close to finding these picks, but every single time, EDG escape.
3 crucial kills it could have been for OMG to kind of find themselves in this game. Now immediately Scout is TPing back in.
They're going to lose that top lane inhibitor turret. Scout jumps in. Illaoi pops the ultimate, but there was no one close to him. doesn't get the slam he was looking for. Ray charges straight into the back lines on top of Chelly. He gets put to sleep. Icon pops the GA. Xiyang's going to fall to Haro. However, OMG still trying to put up that fight. Icon jumps in. It's going to be Ray that goes incredibly low, but he escapes with the skin on his teeth. Once again, Chelly's going to fall. iBoy's chasing in. Ace in the hole comes out. That's going to kill Icon inside of the fountain. A quadra kill gets picked up by iBoy.
This has been an incredible game for iBoy. From the laning phase to the mid game, he got his Bloodthirster and he just went off.
And EDG show who the real veterans are in this game. Able to take down OMG in game number 2, despite the Illaoi, despite the Zhao. We're going to game number 3.
And this has been a fun series. Going into game 3, some things have to change, and it starts with the Zhao. Now, I like the Zhao as a counter pick going into the Rek'Sai. I felt like that was very smart. Just to counter out the pick, what the pick wanted to do, counter out the composition, because that was a strong kind of protection comp for an AD carry. This game, completely different scenario. Multiple threats on the side of EDG. And a tank jungler to boot. They have a lot of abilities to kind of CC the Zhao and take him out of the fight immediately, and they utilize it. So now Fireloli's got to go back and recognize what pick does he have to deal with this.
We do have to remember as well, Ryze, that OMG were one play away from securing that Baron themselves. They caught Scout, they caught Ray, and both lived with under 100 hit points.
That's true.
Whew.
That hurts. I mean, it's kind of, it's fun to see what you can do in a regular season game, because a lot of the times a game is decided by just one player. One auto attack, one ability. You'll probably go to sleep tonight wondering, man, if I just land that ability, or if I just built another item just to be able to land that final killing blow, then we would have won the game. There's a lot of ifs, we woulda, coulda, but what it ended up happening was EDG won the game off a proper slow play around iBoy.
What matters as well is the fact that now this is going to go to game number 3. Ryze, is this Zhao going to be changed? Because it was a niche pick going to game 1, and Fireloli says, you know what, I'm just going to play it blind in game number 2, doesn't matter.
Yes. Yes, it's going to be changed. Probably a Sejuani or a Jarvan. That's what I expect.
We'll have to see if they do change out that pick later on. For now, though, to break down that game and send us into game number 3, let's send it back to Pulse at the analyst desk.
Thank you so much, guys.
What about me?
Oh, and Frosk as well. You've got Frosk here.
What? Hello?
It makes me so sad. Every time I see my picks happen, it's like Urgot, Illaoi, they always lose. And some people may say, well, Pulse, that's because your champion pool sucks. And you might be right. But it just keeps happening, and people never play it again, and it makes me so sad.
Yeah, I'm going to err on the side of Pulse, your champion pool is questionable. Now, that said, Illaoi does have a much better situation in the current meta. I actually really like the pick here. I don't believe that it's a counter pick by any means. You know, Raz talked a lot about the interactions. I feel like Camille does have a lot of windows. We've seen we've seen Khan take the Camille into the Illaoi and did a little bit better there. I think that Ray, sometimes he was outplaying, sometimes he was getting outplayed. But the thing that I really want to touch on is the fact that Ray got Camille. This is exactly what we wanted. I did not want to see a single damage composition from EDG. I swear I'm not in their comms. I said that I wanted...
Yeah, and then Harlox and Sejuani. I was like, hang on, isn't this exactly what Frost just said?
And they just won the game. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but apparently that's exactly what they need. To be fair, it got very close in the end. We had lots of back and forth team fights and skirmishes, and it basically came down to the 50-50s and the fights and how they were executed. But they still had the opportunity to do that because of the composition. So it was nice to see that adaptation.
What more could you want from our match of the week? Our replays, I would just ping it to the producer.
Set aside for us this better replay.
Okay, go Pulse.
All right, so Xiyang initially misses the E here, so he's able to buy time just because Inspiration Tree exists. So he can find another E. Once he gets that out, he's able to just use his ultimate and all the damage comes down, and this is how he finds the turnaround into the 1 versus 2 scenario.
Pulse was so desperate to play-by-play cast an Illaoi, he actually forced the replay onto the analyst desk. The story is that we pinged to the producers and we're like, grab every single kick-ass fight because that's what this series has been.
And then I pinged them and was like, grab every Illaoi play.
It has really turned out to be the match of the week. Yes, EDG got blown out in game number 1, but game number 2, OMG came out swinging again, but EDG were able to fight back despite the incredible performance that Xiyang tried to put out on this Illaoi. And again, what more could you want for match of the week as we're going to game 3?
Yeah, wonderful plays there as well. As you were saying in the top lane, it was a combination of Ray not quite playing correctly. Don't walk up to the Illaoi and just be like, I'll fight you again. Oh, E, that's what you max. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get pulled again and die. So it's nice to see it, but
a lot of smack for the Illaoi that lost.
That's all she does. She just smacks people. So you've got to just stick to what you're good at, right?
The clap and smack.
The clap and slap. That's the one. But unfortunately, it didn't work out in the end, and EDG do pull it to a game 3. It's actually getting pretty sad because it's just like I actually don't want to see this series end. It's really cool to watch because OMG come in with 5 inspiration trees into that matchup, and they were just like push.
And I feel like unfortunately a big reason why OMG did fall off was the Zhao pick. So where it was so successful in game 1, it was because of EDG's composition and how the Zhao interacted with it. The fact that they didn't have multiple damage threats, that it was able to go front to back through the team fight, kill the front line, and basically trade even there. This time around, EDG had a ton of damage threats, so Zhao tried to isolate himself onto the AD carry. Chances are, though, the AD carry is usually going to have more gold than the jungler, and so if you isolate yourself there, yeah, you dive onto the backline, but you literally get 3-shot.
Yep, and our MVP of the match, the man of the match, it is iBoy himself on the Caitlyn pick, doing 40.4% of his team's damage.
Still not as good as Azir's 44%, but that's okay, iBoy. We're going to let it go. I'm super happy to see kind of Caitlyn swinging back into the meta, but I do want to make something very clear. I do not think the fast push strategy is reliant on the Caitlyn, which seems to be what Team WE thought. I hope EDG don't fall into the same trap. I actually think it's reliant on the Janna. So while iBoy did pick up the MVP there, and rightfully so, he had a disgustingly cool game on the Caitlyn, Janna does so much for this pick. I love the W max Janna with Aerie and how she helps out with the nuke potential of that champion. We've seen a lot of Jannas even roaming levels 3 and 4 and picking up solo kills because a jungler is just a little bit too low and along comes a shield and a W just right in your face. But when Janna is taken away, Caitlyn's often just automatically lose the lane or don't get to knock down that first tower and then start quickly rotating around and fast pushing.
Yeah, it makes me very sad when you say the nuke potential on Janna
the
with
nuke
the
potential
with
on
the
Janna.
W max and the ignite coming through as well. So you're expecting just to see the same thing from EDG because that was the right adaptation heading into game number 2. But honestly, it did come down to a 50-50 in the end. Can they go one better?
Hey, it came down to that 50-50 Baron. Yeah, that's the scary thing, is that even though EDG were playing a different strategy and technically executed on it in the end, it still came down to the bread and butter of EDG. Did they get the Baron or not? And it was a very close call. So while EDG did walk away with that game, OMG still feeling like really heavy hitters in this series.
Yeah, and to be honest, I really hope that OMG don't move away from all the interesting picks, but I have a feeling they might, especially from the Zhao. Either way, see if that is going to happen because we will take a quick break before we head into the 3rd and final game.